Hi, welcome to our Maundy Thursday message at Manor United Methodist Church. Thank you for joining us this evening. Maundy Thursday is traditionally a night when we look at two things. We look at the Last Supper that Jesus shared with his disciples and the breaking of the bread, sharing of the wine. But in John's Gospel, we also look at the foot washing that Jesus performed for his disciples. So tonight we're going to focus on that. And if you would join me, we are going to read from the Gospel of John. We're going to read chapter 13, verses 1 through 17. Hear this good word. Before the Passover celebration, Jesus knew that his hour had come to leave this world and return to his Father. He now showed the disciples the full extent of his love. It was time for supper, and the devil had already entered Judas, son of Simon Iscariot, to carry out his plan to betray Jesus. Jesus knew that the Father had given him authority over everything and that he had come from God and would return to God. So he got up from the table, took off his robe, wrapped a towel around his waist, and poured water into a basin. Then he began to wash the feet of his disciples and to wipe them with the towel he had around him. When he came to Simon Peter, Peter said to him, "Lord, why are you going to wash my feet?" Jesus replied, "You don't understand now what I am doing. Someday you will." "No," Peter protested, "you will never wash my feet." And Jesus replied, "But if I don't wash you, you won't belong to me." Simon Peter exclaimed, "Then wash my hands and head as well, Lord, not just my feet." Jesus replied, "A person who has bathed all over does not need to wash except for the feet, to be entirely clean. And you are clean, but that isn't true of everyone here." For Jesus knew who would betray him. That is what he meant when he said, "Not all of you are clean." After washing their feet, he put on his robe again and sat down and asked, "Do you understand what I was doing? You call me teacher and Lord, and you are right because it is true. And since I, the Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you ought to wash each other's feet. I have given you an example to follow. Do as I have done to you. How true it is that a servant is not greater than the master, nor are messengers more important than the one who sends them. You know these things. Now do them. That is the path to blessing." Word of our Lord. Thanks be to God. Some of you may be able to hear the thunder that is going on in the background right now. And I think it's appropriate because it reminds us of the storm that is to come for Jesus later tonight and tomorrow. So tonight, I did not prepare a sermon. I would ask that you take some time to reflect on the gospel story we just read. And remember that on the night before he knew he was going to die, Jesus spends his time washing the feet of his disciples. Now, if that doesn't send us a message, I don't know what does. And as you know, after this virus, this pandemic is controlled, or at least somewhat, and things get back to what we call normal, there are going to be a whole heck of a lot of people who need their feet washed. Not figuratively, most likely, but literally. Literally. Not literally. You know what I mean. So tonight, I want to spend some moments, ask you to spend some moments thinking about, how can I change my life so that I can better reflect the servanthood that our Lord Jesus Christ showed on this night? How I can better reflect the hope that Jesus brought. So tonight, think about how you can become a washer of feet. Because the world is going to need you now more than ever. Prepare yourselves to be the hands and feet of Christ, our risen Christ. Godspeed to you all. You are all, every one of you, in my prayers, as is this church and the Church Universal. Good night, and God bless you and your families. Amen.